fam? It's Dark Angel's Journey. I'm Shakira. So, it's backtesting time and thinking about a lot of things, and yeah, work's getting a little busy. So, um, trades that I've taken have been sort of rushed, sort of yesterday. Had a couple of good setups, but it's what, Thursday? Yeah, we probably have some news coming out, so let's go check it out and then do some backtesting. Let's get tiny. All right, so let's roll up in here, and then let's also grab, I think, what is it, PPI or poor PPI? It doesn't really matter, it's just news, right? Okay, CPI, 830, and then budget balance stuff at 2, so that's gonna, unemployment claims too. And then Friday we have, that's not gonna do anything for me. And then core PPI, and then 10 a.m. again, so should be some fun. All right. So I've been looking at the NASDAQ mainly. So let's nip over there. Then we'll switch into our backtesting space. Let's see how we're feeling. Yeah, my trades from yesterday, my setups. Oh man, I wish I had time. So look at I took 4 trades yesterday. One, two, three, four. Um, this was a long in the wrong direction. Um, Give it a good stop, and I should have closed it earlier. The stop was at 400, but I should have closed earlier. I didn't. Then the short, which was this one, I got going into a meeting, so I just took uh, took it and closed it since I wasn't going to be able to manage it, even though it ran directly where I expected it to go. And then the short was on ES. I should not have touched that at all since I'm not really trading ES. This is at what, 203? And then the what was it, at 3 o'clock? I took a short at 3 o'clock, and I decided to just, close it out. What was going on? I think I had a meeting as well. So it's a bit very disjointed yesterday. It's very annoying, but it's okay. I had dropped to 16,072, and then I brought it back up to 16,395, which is still maybe $25 more than I started with. Yeah, 16,372. Well, not 25, but close. So holding steady at that level. Um, so let's take a look at price action. And I'm actually journaling as well. ICT did a video on journaling. So I've started daily journaling on the NQ1, and making my notes and documenting every little thing so I can start to really like notice it properly. But let's dip over into this unnamed NQ1 for testing. Oh, look at that. This busy. Look at what's happening with it, right? Same scenario. So this busy right here, and we're just gonna do our own thing. I don't like. So we have uh, it's a daily busy slash FDG inside that. So the expectation is they've broken through it quite nicely, just like they did um, these lows here. And they broke through this guy, so expecting them to use this as support to continue down. And what do we have down here? Um, there's this BISI that might be holding it up. We've got an order block right here that they're hanging out at. So I'm just going to note that. So we've got a bullish order block there. Now if they roll up, then this, what's the short-term high that's here? It's this one right here on the daily. So if they take that out, then we'll resume the bullish move. So right now, question is, we've got a low, lower low traded through. So right now, this is a bullish breaker that they just rolled in on the daily. So let's do daily, bullish breaker, and push that back. So that's interesting. So they've just tapped into a bullish breaker on the daily, and technically, as order blocks go inside the breaker, they tapped into that one. So there's this order block and then this propulsion block. And then we had, well, actually, sorry, this order block that was before the shift. So this guy. So they've tapped into that guy. Look at that. Let's look at it like that. That's right. That's a daily. Will be high. Zoom in on that. So that's where they've landed right now. Yeah, and they dipped a little bit into it. Not to mention we have this wick to contend with. I don't think they made it to consequent encroachment of the wick. No, they did not. Let's take that off. That's the 0.25. So they just crested the 0.75 of that wick, and they haven't made it to the halfway point yet. But they are respecting. Let me just put this up. And this is a nice confluence, right? So we have order block and actually, sorry, order block, propulsion block. And so far, like when they came down here, they respected the halfway point. The bodies never made it to the halfway point of this thing. Wicks can do the damage. So right now they're hanging out at this propulsion block's high. Let me adjust that. I'm just gonna do PB daily and PB daily. Let's open. And I should have said high on this one. I'm gonna document it properly. So it wouldn't be strange. And then let's take a look at this price leg, right? Like, where do they come back down? Right? They came into and I'll take this off. They came into a discount, or I should say they've come into a discount, and they're between the 62 and the 79, which is inside of the breaker, inside the propulsion block, and there's a fair value gap right here as well. And this one that could be holding price up. So we'll see how they behave. If they choose to break back up, then the bullish trend is at minimum they need to break through here to come into here. There's a volume imbalance right here for them to work with. And they'll have to take this high out for it to continue on up. But short term, I would be, expecting them to move up that way. So we'll see. All right, so we're back testing yesterday's price action. We're just gonna do the rest of the week because I don't think I've actually traded much of this week. The week started with the 7th. Okay. So, yeah, wow. It's been busy. Yeah, so only traded yesterday on Wednesday. That's annoying. Okay. All right. And then we'll do a similar thing on ES because why not? So we've got 3 days to test out this week, and then we'll switch to ES and do analysis there because, yeah, why not? Okay, let's drop down to a 1 hour. on here. Let's see what's up in the 1 hour. And I'm gonna do this. Actually, I'll drop to the 15 minute. And I want to see how I could have done better yesterday. So this was Wednesday AM session. And I'm just curious, as I'm gonna start back looking at, so I'm gonna do like 6:30 as well and see what's available at that time. So let's go to the 1 hour and I'll take this off the moment and see what we have. So 6 a.m. we've been steadily moving down. So we had a shift here, high, higher, high, shift. So we had a bearish breaker, which they came into here and rolled further into this fair value gap. I'm curious though, because this was last Friday, and then Monday is when they rolled back up into it. Let me plug this laptop in. It's right next to me. So, trying to read the patterns here properly. So, we had a bearish breaker there, and then this high to this low needed them to come into a premium. And inside of this breaker, there's no there's this fair value gap on the in the premium portion, but this also had something in it. Now the question is this a balanced price range? Because this sort of almost feels like it is. So let's drop down like a 30 minute and take a closer look. Nope. This is balanced. This is not. Let's go to 15. Zoom in on this space here. Yeah, so they rolled back up. So, I mean, I guess they could have decided to push back up. They didn't. Oh, hold on. Take that down. So they rolled up into the premium inside the breaker. And I have to assume there's order blocks in here. Let's drop to the 5 minute. Just curious here. We don't need this right now. There has to be an order block that was a good place for. Actually, let me put that back. All right, never mind. That's fine. I'll just manually do this. So I have to assume there was a order block in the general vicinity that would force them to, not force, but be a reason for them to mess with, to turn around at that point. So we rolled into this right here, and then I would expect them to take this out and then potentially drop. I don't know if that they need to run all the way back up that way. So they did that. So let's just for funsies, because I'm starting to realize the flow and what they're doing. So they came up, took it, and then we had a shift on the 5 minute. So we had this one shift right here. And so any return to this buy side would have been, perfectly acceptable. So I would assume, and this is at what time? So 6 o'clock? I wouldn't have been trading this anyway, but yeah, they shifted. And then they came back at 8 o'clock in the evening. So Asia did a little something something at that point. So like a short on the 5 minute would have been somewhere at the shift here, like that. And we would have needed a stop above that, a couple ticks. Not bad. And then you've got this guy to play with. This order block, I probably would have just stopped right there. Or waited for it to take this low out right here. Not bad. Which they did. And then just kept falling out of bed. but I was just curious about what they were doing at that point. All right, so let's take this off. Let's get back to what we were doing. All right, so it is, it's about 6:15. What did London do? We got that low and that high. My general expectation would be sell side would be about here, approximately. Um, and to reach into the rest of this, and then this is the bullish breakers, purple, right? And then the order blocks down here. So my general first thing would be here. Um, and then I would assume the buy side, initial buy side would be about here. We have this relative equal highs, actually. So I might do something like that. Okay. So let's see what actually happens around this time if we get anything juicy. We are ostensibly bearish. So let's see what we're looking at. So we've got this SIBI on the 15-minute. So 15-minute FEG SIBI. That's been holding price down. And because it's a SIBI, I'm gonna make them red or, it's gonna be red or green. Just red or green, just keep it simple. That's been holding price on. We've wicked above it. So where did the shift really happen here? So we have a short-term low here, shift. So this order block right here that they shifted up into. I'm curious. So my general expectation is this order block right here. So we have this bearish order block. Right. Just gonna thicken that up and change the text on this to blue. And we're going to save as and update that really quickly. Yes, thank you very much. I don't have to keep doing it every time. All right, so it's 4:45 London. This is London's low, and we're coming up on 6 o'clock. So we have a short-term high here on London, so that means we have a uh, bearish breaker right here, right there. And let's take that off. Everything purple. This is on the 15-minute. So a 15-minute bearish breaker, and we've shifted right here. So from a premium to discount, we need them to bust above here and get into some space. We have good price delivery. And I have to zoom in on this. Ah, look at that. So we have a volume imbalance right here. We'll see how they behave. I'm going to note it because just use this. So VI 15 minutes. Be specific. The high. Down. That's the low. Okay. All right, so it's now 6:15. It's dropped down to a 5-minute. All right, so here's the potential, right? Let's see what we have above us. So we have a nice shift. We're inside this breaker. The only fair value gap, and this is the halfway point, right? So we have a shift. Oh, do we? Hold on. Okay, so I have the shift here, and then he rolled equal. This is all pretty balanced price-wise. So at most, I would be expecting them to come up to this order block just above here. So let's see if I'm right. And we'll do that. Actually, this is a purple. Is it? What's that? This is NQ 15. Okay, so I'd want something above that order block in case I'm wrong. So that's not bad actually. 52 ticks up there. And then we're coming down to maybe take those lows out or something like that. Yep, so there's a fair value gap here on the 5-minute. Let's aim for that. I'm sure there's more we can get. Ah, right. The sell side's all the way down here. But I'm gonna just do something like that. Let's see. Keep moving it. All right. This is 6:30. So it's 6:25. I'm curious, is this, I want them to come up to about here. All right. Now if they don't, this holds it up. We get a, whoa, 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 stop, stop, stop. Sorry. Hit the button wrong. Okay. So they didn't, this 15-minute held it up. Let's drop down. Just curious to see. So they didn't bother to come back up into a premium. They rolled up into the fair value gap here, respected about the midpoint of this breaker. Beautiful. And then shifted down. Let's see, what does it look like on the lower time frames? 2 minutes. 1 minute. Okay. So if I were to take this shorter price leg, which is inside of the breaker, into account instead, and this volume imbalance in mind, we have a low. Okay, so I'm gonna cheat a little bit and come back this way. All right. So from this price leg inside of the breaker, we have this order block, but we have this low with this fair value gap, and it's in a premium. So I'm finding that those are beautiful places for entries. So I would do something like this and put it above that. So if I'm wrong, I'm only losing a little bit, right? And then just aim for this guy, like 2 standard deviations. Okay, so okay, let's see. So we know it goes up there. Okay, we have a big shift. Now, given that this is the price like I'm working off of, it was hanging out in here. We haven't come up to this low. I might have felt like this high traded through breaker, but the thing that matters is the breaker itself and making sure that I have like a stop that's above it, so like a 40 tick stop is above the breaker. So if we're being seriously honest, right? That's a high and inside a fair value gap, which is a beautiful, old low inside of a fair value gap, which is a beautiful place for an entry. And we did have a shift on the 5-minute here. So I would have been in here anyway when it tapped it. So let's go back down to the 1-minute and let's do all of this and just bring it back because I want to see what it looks like. All right, so we would be selling right there approximately with a very decent chunk of a stop. Now, I'm going to do some sort of aiming, right? Once we leave the general vicinity of this low right here. So we have this low, that low, that low, that low. There's a fair value gap down here. So we have a couple of places that we can hang out and see what's going on. Right now I'm thinking about trade management, and um I'm just watching where we should be going. So right now, if I hover over my tool here, so this is 10, target 48.5. Oh, is that points? So 10 points up here. Let's see. Yeah. And Q, and let's say we're just targeting 40 approximately. Curious to see if that is at 160. Risk 40 for 160. Okay. Um, so we would have weathered all of that. And let's zoom in on this space. Now, my desired entry is a little higher, the order block. But with the old low, I'm finding they sometimes don't go all the way up there. Okay. So I'm gonna feel comfortable when they leave this low right here, or more comfortable anyway. So now we're just hanging out. What time is it? 6:40. All right, so 6:40, this might be too much, you know, looking for. I might be asking for too much, right? At 6:40. Let's see, maybe we can take that low out and get 80 ticks. So 1 to 2, okay? Okay, so we have another shift here. No fair value gap. This thing up here, that's not pretty. I don't like it. So let's see if they choose to. All right, so I would flatten right there. So I'd make 415, quick and dirty at 6:30 or so. Let's see what they do after that. And meander about the spot. So I was like, okay, so it's the timing that matters to me at that point. Okay, so let's go back up to the 5 minutes. Let's continue on to the opening. It's got a 15 minutes actually. Let's continue on. So where is 9:30? It's gonna drop. That's the opening. So it did absolutely continue on down to take those lows. So that would have been perfectly acceptable. And then, so tapping the top of this fair value gap would have been perfect, right? Look at that. 7:30, rolled right back up. So I'm wondering, because my original desire for an entry was here. Never quite made it down there, did they? Hold on. It's 8:30. Back in this thing. Yeah, so if I just aim for one of these lows, not bad. But we'll hang on to low hanging fruit. All right, so we've hit 9:30. So I'll just move this over to 10 o'clock. And we'll drop down to 5 minutes. So we saw where we could make a little something something. A little something something. At so 9:30, 9:40, we're just dropping like a stone into the sell side right here. What else is in this general vicinity? Let's go up to 15 minutes. Don't give away the game. Okay, good. So we know we have sell side down here as well. side, and fair value gaps in the middle of all of that. In terms of institutional areas of interest, we have this order block, and we have, I'm assuming this is like a new PM session low. We have this guy right here, so sell side all the way down here. So I'm a newbie. I'm gonna keep it simple. Okay, so it's 5 minutes. 9:30, we've been dropping precipitously, and it's 9:40. All right, things I'm gonna pay attention to. So we have this fair value gap on the 5 minutes. So I said I was gonna do 5 minutes, FVG, it's a BISI, buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency. There's gonna be always be red. Okay. And this one's a SIBI. Green. FVG, 5 minutes. I mean, buy side, BISI. That's a SIBI, sorry. All the way around. I realized I hadn't said that right. Okay, so make sure I've got that right. Okay. Okay. All right, so to this point, 9:45, 9:50, we're at the low of this. So we know we have order blocks, fair value gaps, all that good stuff down here. All right, so what do we have? All right, so 10 o'clock rolls in. And what I did yesterday was I missed an obvious thing, right? Because I took a long first on NQ. So we know what time it is. So it's 10:05. So now we're just we're accumulating. And I just noticed there's a small fair value gap right here that I hadn't noticed before. So 5 minutes CB. So my desire would be for this to hold price where it is. My other question is there anything else like um like an inversion fair value gap that might be of consideration? So let's use this one. This BISI. Okay, so FEG slash BISI. So it could be a potential inversion fair value gap. Oh, sorry, this needs to be green. That's why it's an inversion fair value gap. So we've gotten rejected from this guy right here. We're at 10:05. Okay, we've made our way up to this guy again. So this is a short-term high. So if they take this out, then we're going to continue on up. This is a short-term low. If they take that out, then they're continuing down. So what are we doing? We're just hanging out. This is what I should have done. And if I had time to pay attention, I wouldn't have lost the 300. So now we have this shift. I wanted to come back up to this area because it just makes perfect sense. Let's drop down to a 4 minutes, 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute. Okay. So my general desire for a short is this right here, stop above that, and so we have a high, higher high, traded through. So we have a breaker right here on the 1 minute. Let's see how well they behave inside of it. It's So we have a bearish breaker right here on the 1 minute, but given the nature of the behavior, let's see here, see if we have any confluences. Oops. So this is definitely, we going down. I just need to make sure my stop is right. Should technically be above here. So that's 42 ticks. It should be above here, like that. All right, so the 62 merges in with the open of that in the top of the breaker. So I'm gonna do this. Okay, so if it comes back up there, then I will go short. All right, perfect. Crud, tapped it and ran off. Okay, perfect. All right, so I sell there. Okay, beautiful. All right, so my original at the sell side liquidity makes perfect sense. All right, so how far can we go, right? What do we have around us? Let's go up to a 5 minute. Don't give away the game. Okay. So we have all this sell side down here. That's a potential draw. We have this low, just close by, and fair value gaps in here. So we could do that and wait for it to come into this breaker down here. So let's drop it on 1 minute and let's watch it. Okay. Now, once it leaves this low, then I can move my stop to break even, I think. 70, that's good. This is what happened to me. Yeah, 240. This is what happened to me. Like it got down to that, and then I closed it somewhere around here. I didn't like this. So we are at the base of this, so it's not strange if it wants to hang out, but it's respecting the breakers. I should have kept it. I don't think I actually peeped the breaker, so that's annoying. Okay, so now the other thing that we could do is low-hanging fruit, right? The other thing is if there is a breaker, then we could use this and this for aiming. So one standard deviation is right here. 1.5 puts us just inside of that. So let's use the 1.5. And 2 puts us right there. So let's see. Can we get that? All right. All right. Okay, so when we leave here, my stop is right here. So if we come back up, I would be stopped out. Oof. Back into the breaker. What time is it? 10:44. Now, there's also a shift here. No fair value gap. So I don't expect it to stay up there. It's like another return to the breaker, giving folks another opportunity. I don't like that candle. Can we watch this on the 5 minute? Would that be better? Let's see. Oh, so on the 5 minute, look at that. If I'd stuck there, 1.5. Oh, oh, what? Like I missed out on a lot of profit for that short, This one right here, where I entered at 15,273.25. So where is my entry here? Did I do the same thing? Sorry. So this entry is even worse. My entry was better. It's 1572. Oh, my entry was worse. It was 73, blah, 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 whatever. Oh, no, hold on. Am I reading that wrong? I'm reading it wrong. Oh, my close was at 15. My entry was 15, 283.75. 283.75. 283.75. This is 15,286. So I entered at 283 right there. Yeah, so at the lower portion at the 6.2 where it coincided with the bottom of that order block. But beautiful, right? Just freaking beautiful. Now that's more than enough for a freaking day. I don't know about you, right? So I'm gonna take all of that off and I would be done for the morning. Like that would be the end of me. I don't care if it goes any lower, but that would be the end of me. So it's 11 o'clock. It keeps going lower. That's okay. It takes a second sell side. And we're at the top of that order block. Now, I'm going to go into the 5 minute because there is a pattern that I'm learning that is slowly making sense to me. So we have a low, lower low. And so I need to be careful because sometimes when I think a short-term high has been taken, it hasn't. And that's what messes me up. So now we've just, I'm not going to take this because I'm just going to taper it. But we have a low, lower low traded through. This is a breaker right here going into here. But we've been dropping. But we're at a point, order block, inside of a bullish breaker. And we've taken out the lowest sell side that I was considering personally. So on the 5 minute, once this handle here closes, I would think of a return. Well, first of all, let's think about the movement that we've had, right? Price leg wise, 15 minutes, right? So I would be considering, so we have this high and this low, right? And I'm just gonna remove some of this. Well, let's keep it. So I would be looking for them to at least come into a premium, right? And take this. That's what I'd be looking for. And tap that, right? As a reversal. Because we're obviously bearish for the moment. So I would just keep my monies. So we have a shift. Oh. Shift above here into here. No real fair value gaps. Let's look at the 4 minutes. 3 minutes. It's nothing. 2 minutes. It's like nothing. Except it's nothing, right? Just not a blasted thing. All you got is an order block and the top of this breaker. So my general thought would be this, right? If it comes back into the top of this breaker, expected breaker, right? I would probably do something like that. I don't know. I don't know if I would expect it to come all the way back down here, given that there's no actual fair value gaps or anything in that general vicinity, but we'll have to see what it does, right? Right. Oh, right. So, did it come back into that order block? Because that was a shift. The only thing you have, and there's no fair value gap. The only thing you have to work with is the break, is the order block. So I guess when that happens, my mind should be here. I stop underneath it. Like so, ugh, that's ugly. It's a lot. I don't like that. Nothing to work with, so I wouldn't even take this. Oh, but I am missing the inversion fair value gap. That's the only thing that's in this space. Look at it. Look at it. So 5 minutes, G slash, it's a BISI, which I think is becoming an IVG. Green, take that off. Like that, right? So actually, understanding that this is in there, I might have gone midpoint through that, and then just been below this candle as well. Like that would have been that could be a potential. And then once we leave, since this is the breaker, could use it for some aiming. And look, the 2 is right there at the order block that I would be aiming for. Now, it's not strange for them to like dip into this. And if they're going to continue down, I would expect them to take one of these highs, these short-term highs out first, either this one or this one, before dipping. Let's see, this one. So, and maybe they'll do it in the PM session. So let's go, that's the buy side. Let me delete all the sell side stuff because that stuff's great, but not relevant anymore. Okay. Now, understanding that they can go that far, that's fine. That's great. This is what I would be aiming for, to the return and then take another short. I need something a little bit more juicy. There's nothing juicy there. But I mean, these things are so, look at the way the bodies are respecting it, right? We busted through it with abandon, no respect, rolled back through, and used it as support. Beautiful. Let's make that a little darker. Barely see it. Beautiful. So, still, yeah. Still nothing juicy. So the only fair value gap besides this one is this one. And that's a shift in and of itself. 1, 2. So, and my general desire would be a return. At least when it made this and returned, it returned into a premium of a discount, sorry, before rolling back up. So that's nice. So this would be the next potential with that would be more than enough, I think. Let's see. Oof, ugly. Let's zoom in on that because I said I wanted a little bit below. Look at that. Oh my goodness, look at that. Barely, barely would have kept that if I had entered there. Just barely. Let's see. And now we rolling with some Crisco. Ugh, it's ugly. But this fair value gap, it held, right? Now we have another shift here in the continuum. So, ooh, nice strong push. Thinking about retreating back a little bit into this fair value gap. Or maybe the top of the breaker. Let's see. Into the fair gap. It's what, about midpoint? Okay. And then bam! Right there. Right there. We would have gotten, and then a more decisive push through. We would have gotten that. Jeez. But this is the entry right here, the institutional, the IF, the inversion fair value gap, like the way they behaved here, if they'd come back into it, and then we could have had a stop like below this candle or something like that, just to be sure. Beautiful. All right, awesome. I was just curious about that. Gotta pay attention to what's around us, right? Okay, so that would have been the morning session, and I wouldn't have taken that. I'm waiting for them to come take this out. So what time is it now? It's 1:40. All right. So the lunchtime run for liquidity at 11:50 bullish order block inside the breaker, taken buy side, had a shift, would have had from that I fed an entry right there and then run back up to run for liquidity because they're running for liquidity. It's not this. It's what's up here, I think. So for a short, I would need to see them respect that. So, ooh, not to mention, there is this guy as a potential inversion fair value gap along with the 5-minute SIBI that's up there. So let's see. See where we could have taken something. Now, for a full price leg, I did something like that to here. This puts us almost, so the halfway point here, 0.6562 is there. So I would probably try for a short from the 6.2 right there. Let's see. And then have a stop above that. Ugh, that's too much. Like that. Whoops, keep changing it. So, and then maybe something running out, running back down to the breaker or something. I don't know, whatever. We'll see what lows form as it rides. Okay, so we do this. So it's now 2 o'clock. Okay, we're just order block. There's the buy side is just so juicy. It's like right there. Okay, let's drop to a 1 minute here. Actually, maybe not a 1 minute, but this is where I'm expecting the entry. Look at it. Oh, the 6.2 is up here, sorry. But we have all of this. I'll just see how it behaves in this general vicinity. Might not even go to the 6.2, right? So let's take that off. And 3 o'clock, I'm looking for an entry. So let's look at the 5 minutes. So what did we do? We like rolled up to it. And then we came back up again, still looking. All right, so we took the buy side right here. What time is it? 2:40. Let's see. Stop down until 1 minute. So we took buy side, and look at the candles respecting the IFED. So now I should be able to take a short. Taking out this short-term low right here. And they've come back into an area I'm expecting them to. So, but they haven't come up to the 6.5, whatever. So understanding this, perhaps if they give me an opportunity to come back up into here, I'll take the short with the stop just above, with a 40-tick stop just above here. And as for lows, well, we know they'll probably pause here. Let's see about this low right here. Maybe even this one. Let's see. We can do some aiming. So we have a high, higher high, and we haven't traded through this, so I'm just estimating. So this is what they do when they hit a point of interest, right? Do I have a short-term low that I can play with in here? No, but I have this high. If we respect that, so let 5 more minutes go by. Okay, so we're doing this. So we've made another short-term high here and this short-term low. What time is it? 2:45. That is a reason to go short. So let's drop down to 1 minute and see what we got. Now, they never made it up to my place of actual interest, but let's see. It's now 2:54. I'm thinking taking out all of that. This one would have been a good place. Yeah, so we'll adjust our expectations here to about there with a stop about there. Ugh, it's ugly. I don't expect him to come back up, so we're gonna stop above that, above this. So that was a very, very strong, strong move. We have a higher traded through. So I need to also pay attention to my surroundings, right? So we have this breaker as well. And this is inside of the breaker. Bearish breaker that I'm assuming they'll color outside of the lines a little bit. So let's do that. So when they go above here, if they do that, which I expect them to do, if I'm wrong, which it looks like I'm wrong. Okay, so we have another shift here. Fair value gap. 5 minutes here. Looks like we're floundering in this general vicinity inside this fair value gap. Nothing on the 5 minute. It's all relatively balanced. Come back up. So this order block right here, the shift would have been where I should have taken the entry. Where does that leave us on the... Okay, yeah, so I messed up, but I was expecting... I probably shouldn't have used that price leg. Sometimes so this price leg, let's see. Yeah. So this price leg and that order block drop. Okay, so I still, it barely went into a premium. I still think an entry from here is doable, but price will do what price will do. All right, so the other thing that it's respecting the bottom of this thing. So on the 5 minutes, it's an ugly candle. So no touchy. And then this right here is what I was thinking of, right? So all of that, respecting this, it tipped above here. I should have just been comfortable with the entry here, which I think I did, right? Let's see. This is at 302, right? So my yesterday brain, 15,285 is what my entry was. So what did I not see? Yeah, yeah. I had this I had this entry yesterday, so I had my entry here, and I just took, when it dropped a little bit. Huh. Okay. Well, regardless of not hitting the button in here, something I need to work on. It's respecting the halfway point of the breaker. And so from an aiming perspective, 2 would have been right there. That low, let's see. Yep. How about that low? Yeah, they took out that low. So I was looking, that would have been more than enough, but let's do -4. Where's the -3? The -3 on that one. So they hit -3, volume imbalance. They keep going. Okay, and then they stopped the breaker. So, I mean, I would have been perfectly fine with the -2 right there. Actually, no, that's 142. No. 170. And the next thing below that low was something below that low would have been good right there. 176. It's not bad. So that would have been a good run for me yesterday afternoon. Fascinating. Fascinating that I got in on that trade and I closed it. Call starting. I closed it at 273.75. So I got it here and then it was coming back up. 273. Yeah. So it was coming back up. So I don't think I was paying close attention to where it was running up into and the behavior, even though I got my entry right here. I didn't want to give up my profits. So something I need to work on with live price action because otherwise I could have had double this, but it's getting easier to see what I need because after this shift, so like once that shift happened right there, boom, boom, now I start to go down to 4 and that candle closes, right? 3, I shouldn't feel rushed, right? Um, and the only fair value gap was up here on the 2 minute. The order block was here and we're inside the breaker. Actually, it's in the 1 minute. I have that right. A little bit on the 1 minute. So yeah, so there's that in this order block, but they like to take the entry at the order block and they might color out to the side of the line. So that's why my stop needed to be above the breaker. Yeah. And then, you know, rolling it down. Look at the lows that exist on the higher time frame. So that's the low right there, and that low, fair value gap, and this breaker. So, and did they go lower? Oh no, they stopped there. Right. So anything that took out that low would have been fine with me from an aiming perspective. Let's go back and take a quick look at that. So high and the low using the breaker for aiming purposes. And we're looking for that low to be removed. So we were either taking it at the low or at -3, which, yeah, beautiful. At that point, I would have probably moved my stop to here once it was getting so close to it. Put my stop here and just let it run the rest of the way. Otherwise, I'm good. Done. Beautiful. So that was yesterday's potentials. But it seems crazy to think that you could do so much, you know? Well, let's look at live price action for the moment. Let's see what we're doing. Curling up. Do believe there's a lot of stuff under here. Yeah, so I need to clean this up because when it came back up, it was coming back up to something. So I need to clean up my NASDAQ. So I'm gonna remove all faulty of those and we're gonna come out to the daily so I can actually and then actually let's look at the monthly. So I'm gonna make a few adjustments here. So I have a monthly. So this is going to be a monthly FEG slash BISI that they're probably drawing into. And let's brighten that a little bit. We're gonna save this as FEG slash BISI. And then I'm gonna delete the other ones. Okay. And I'm gonna drop down to a weekly in here. And on the weekly, um, oh, change that. It should just be FEG BISI, whatever. So that's a monthly BISI, a weekly BISI, and what else we got? We got a bullish order block. So This is the one where the shift occurred. So this is the order block. The rest is just time distortion. All right. Okay. So from this one, I want to see. Oh, you know what? I'm wrong. This is the propulsion. No, this is weekly, right? It's the one where the shift occurred. So yeah. See if I'm right about that. That's the order block where the shift comes. Yeah. So, oh, this is the midpoint. So I'm just going to note this as the midpoint. So mean threshold of the weekly OP. So it's a weekly bullish order block. That's the mean threshold of that. That's the high and the low. So it hit mean threshold and it's wicked below that. And so since we're doing Control Z, sorry. So let's say that's 0.75 of that. And this should be a different shade. Let's make those orange. Well, no, they're bullish order blocks, so green's fine. And then the 0.75 of it. The 0.25 of bitch, popping my swagger. Hello, good morning. Sorry about that. My phone rang. All right. All right, that's that. All right, things I want on my chart. All right, so that's everything from the weekly. Actually, I'm gonna pause again. All right, sorry about that. Just had to take care of some stuff for mom. All right, so that's all I'm gonna focus on the weekly. Let's drop down to the daily for now. Right. So things that I should have been aware of yesterday that would have helped me in my decisions on the daily. So here we have the daily. Like, I guess if he writes it down, like I can. I don't know if I can do all that. So there's this one. That's been holding price. And this oh, that's the one. So my eyes need to be able to pick these things up. Like I just had things sorted out over here. Okay, so we're noting this guy from yesterday. That would have been helpful. And then we also had this one that's sort of holding price up. So we have this one, which did not turn into an IFED because if they drop back up, it's going to remain a BISI. We need to see if there'll be, I need to use something else for this one. So I'm just going to do this. And daily FEG, BISI low. And we got red. Let's make it a dark. So much green on here, man. Jeez. Just gonna have to use a different shade because can't be purple. I guess we can do blue. And then let's make that the high. There's a volume imbalance in there, so it's the high of that. And let's see where midpoint of that is. It's That's where they stayed below, if you look at it. So we're just gonna do that, and we're gonna do daily FEG CE. Okay. And it's too far over, so not gonna be able to see it. Same thing with that. It's in the same general vicinity. It's inside of a weekly. And they stayed inside of this order block. A, well, propulsion block, if I'm being honest. So let's make that a nice bright orange. Daily P, bullish PB. Open. That's the high. See how they're behaving inside of that little spot there. But look how price, remained inside of it and then starting to like turn. We'll see what they do. But we have the 0.25, 0.75 mean threshold is where they seem to be hanging out. It's also the low of the other thing, the other fair value gap. Okay, and then it's going to, oh, hold on. Anything else on the daily I need to be aware of? There's a low, 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 traded through. This is also a, the breaker. Jesus. So, daily bullish breaker, high, and just got so many damn lines. That purple. Be the low. See how they behave inside of it, and so what mean threshold looks like for this thing. See. Let's see. Sorry. It's a bad habit of selecting. There we are. So mean threshold of that breaker. Okay. All right, so it's a lot going on there. Let's see how we're behaving moving forward. Let's go to the 4-hour. So this it's ugly. It's very, very ugly. So we're at the order block on 4-hour. 15 minutes. It's easier to see. We're just hanging out inside of the oh. Can't see the name of that. I hate when that happens. So annoying. Anyway, that's just me sort of prepping for the remainder of the day. It's not pretty, but eventually I'll be able to know all the levels without all the extra stuff. But for now, so I can recognize where I'm at, I'll be doing that. Anyway, let me know how your trading's going, how your journaling and all that stuff. Drop it down in the comments. That'd be amazing. I will not be doing a review this weekend because I will be off helping friends, doing some stuff. So, yay. Anyway, so happy trails. Enjoy your respective days. Shakira out.